Tonight, imagine falling asleep beneath the open sky. No walls, no locked doors, no weapons, you're completely exposed. Somewhere beyond the darkness, lions are hunting, hyenas are listening. Then something even larger catches your scent and starts moving closer. By every rule of nature, you shouldn't survive until sunrise. Yet your ancestors did exactly that for thousands of years. They weren't the fastest animals, they weren't the strongest, and they certainly weren't the deadliest. Instead, they mastered a survival strategy that predators never fully understood. By the end of this video, you'll never think about ancient humans the same way again. So how did they survive in a world built to kill them? Now picture yourself waking up 200,000 years ago as the first rays of sunlight stretch across the African savanna. No alarm clock, no shelter, no one coming to rescue you. The only thing standing between you and death is noticing danger before it notices you. Every sound matters. A rustling bush could be nothing more than the wind, or it could be a lion silently stalking through the tall grass. The ancient world was one of the deadliest places a human could possibly live. Lions hunted in coordinated prides. Leopards waited silently in the trees for the perfect ambush. Hyenas could crush bones with terrifying jaws, while giant crocodiles exploded from calm rivers without warning. Compared with those animals, our ancestors looked hopelessly outmatched. We had no razor-sharp claws. We couldn't outrun a cheetah. Our teeth were tiny beside those of a wolf. Our bare skin offered little protection against claws or fangs. By every measure, humans should have disappeared long before civilization ever began. So why didn't they? Because every hunt is a gamble. A lion can suffer a crippling injury from a single kick delivered by an antelope. A broken tooth can mean slow starvation. Even the strongest hunter avoids unnecessary risks because one mistake can be fatal. Every predator constantly asks the same questions. Is this prey easy? Will it fight back? Could I get hurt? Those silent calculations became humanity's greatest opportunity. Our ancestors couldn't overpower the predators around them. They discovered something far more valuable: how those predators thought. Every close encounter became a lesson. People noticed where lions preferred to hide before attacking. They learned that leopards relied on surprise instead of long chases. They discovered that hyenas usually targeted isolated individuals instead of large groups. Over generations, those observations changed everything. People stopped reacting to danger. They started predicting it. Picture yourself finding fresh paw prints pressed into the dirt. Most animals would keep moving until they actually saw the predator. Our ancestors didn't. Those tracks told a story. Which direction had the animal traveled? How recently had it passed? Was it hunting or protecting its young? Reading those clues allowed people to avoid danger long before a predator ever appeared. Fear had become information. But avoiding dangerous animals wasn't enough. Soon, our ancestors realized something even more remarkable. If they understood how predators made decisions, perhaps they could influence those decisions. And that single realization became one of the greatest survival strategies in human history. That single discovery became one of the greatest survival strategies in human history. Our ancestors couldn't become stronger overnight. They couldn't grow claws or sharper teeth, but they could change what predators expected. The first strategy was surprisingly simple: stay together. A lone human looked like an easy meal. 20 humans looked like trouble. Every hunter weighs risk before attacking. It doesn't want a fair fight. It wants the safest meal with the smallest chance of injury. So our ancestors rarely faced danger alone. Families slept side by side. Hunters traveled in groups. Children stayed surrounded by adults. From a predator's point of view, too many moving bodies created uncertainty. Too many things could go wrong. Then people discovered another advantage: height. Whenever possible, they rested on rocky ledges, inside caves, or high in trees. Climbing predators certainly existed, but attacking a group above the ground demanded far more effort than ambushing someone crossing an open plain. The easier target was usually somewhere else. People also mastered something unexpected: noise. Most prey animals become silent when frightened. Humans often did the opposite. Shouts echoed across the landscape. Stones slammed together. Sticks struck the ground. The sound rolled through the valley. To us, it seems chaotic. To a predator, it sounded unpredictable. An animal expecting frightened prey suddenly encountered loud, confident creatures refusing to run away. That unexpected reaction interrupted its plan. Many attacks ended before they even began because surprise had shifted from the hunter to the hunted. Body language mattered just as much. Today, wildlife researchers observe the same pattern. Many predators hesitate when potential prey stands tall, faces them directly, and refuses to panic. Looking larger, maintaining eye contact, and moving with confidence can make an attack seem far more dangerous than it's worth. Our ancestors probably learned this lesson through countless encounters. Running often triggered pursuit. Standing together created doubt. Sometimes doubt was enough to survive. People also became experts at listening to the forest itself. A flock of birds suddenly exploded into the sky. Monkeys screamed through distant trees. Antelope froze, staring into the distance. These weren't random random sounds. They were warnings. Instead of seeing themselves separate from nature, our ancestors treated the wilderness like a giant communication network. Other animals unknowingly revealed danger long before any predator came into view. The entire forest became an early warning system. By now, humans were doing something remarkable. They weren't defeating predators, they were shaping their decisions. Yet one discovery would push that advantage even further. It didn't depend on strength. It didn't depend on speed. It depended on something every predator instinctively feared. Fire. Not as warmth, not as cooking, as a weapon. Today, we switch on a stove or sit beside a campfire without giving it much thought. But for our ancestors, fire wasn't simply a useful tool. It was a survival revolution. Long before it cooked food or warmed cold nights, it changed something even more important. It changed what predators believed. Picture a hungry lion moving silently through the darkness. Its eyes are perfectly adapted for the night. Every instinct tells it what prey should look like. Then everything changes. Bright flames dance across the ground. Thick smoke twists into the sky. Strange shadows grow, shrink, and move in impossible ways. Embers drift through the air while sharp cracks echo across the night. Nothing about it feels natural. To a predator, it feels dangerous. Most wild animals avoid what they don't understand. Curiosity can be deadly, especially for an apex hunter with everything to lose. A serious injury could mean weeks without food or even death. Unpredictable things survive. Predictable things get attacked. Fire exploited that instinct perfectly. The flames weren't dangerous only because they burned. They were impossible to predict. Burning branches hissed. Logs burst with sharp pops. Glowing embers floated through the air like tiny stars. Every movement suggested hidden danger, even when no one threatened the animal directly. But our ancestors went even further. Fire became part of a performance. People gathered around the flames, making themselves appear larger than they really were. Faces flickered in the light. Spears reflected the glow. Entire groups shouted, laughed, and moved together with confidence. From a distance, predators no longer saw weak primates. They saw something unfamiliar, something fearless, a force surrounded by living light. Archaeological sites reveal ancient fire pits dating back hundreds of thousands of years. Once people learned to preserve flames and carry glowing embers between camps, nights became far less dangerous than ever before. That changed everything. Instead of hiding until sunrise, people stayed awake longer. They planned hunts, repaired tools, shared knowledge, and watched over one another while hunters remained beyond the edge of the firelight for the first time. The darkness no longer belonged only to carnivores. Humans had claimed part of it. Even today, wildlife researchers observe lions, wolves, bears, and many other large predators keeping their distance from active fires whenever possible. Not because they understand fire the way we do, because evolution rewards caution around unfamiliar danger. For thousands of generations, predators encountered humans surrounded by flames, noise, and cooperation. Over time, those encounters reinforced one simple lesson. These creatures aren't worth attacking without becoming stronger, without growing claws, without winning endless battles. Humans had convinced the world's greatest hunters to think twice, but their greatest advantage was still only beginning. The remarkable part is, that ancient survival strategy never disappeared. Millions of predators around the world are still responding to it today. Walk through a forest, and there's a good chance the largest hunter nearby already knows you're there. The surprising part? It's probably trying to avoid you. That sounds impossible when you think about lions, wolves, bears, or tigers. They're stronger, faster, and equipped with natural weapons our bodies simply don't have. Yet most of the time, they disappear long before we ever see them. Why? Because thousands of years of experience have taught them one important lesson. Humans are unpredictable. Unlike deer, zebra, or wild pigs, people never react the same way twice. Sometimes we run, sometimes we stand our ground, sometimes we're alone. Other times, an entire group suddenly appears. We carry sticks, stones, spears, fire, and today, loud machines capable of making deafening noise, from a hunter's perspective. We're difficult to understand, and uncertainty is dangerous. Modern wildlife studies reveal the same pattern again and again. Wolves become more active at night near human settlements. Bears abandon feeding areas when people arrive. Mountain lions quietly slip away after hearing human voices. They're making the same calculation their ancestors made thousands of years ago. Is this meal worth the risk? Most of the time. The answer is no. That doesn't mean dangerous animals never attack. A starving hunter, a mother protecting her young, or an animal that feels trapped may still become aggressive. Nature always has exceptions, but one pattern remains surprisingly consistent. When predators have a choice, they usually choose easier prey. Now imagine the decision from a lion's point of view. A zebra runs, an antelope panics. A human might light a fire, another might shout. Then more people appear from behind the trees. Suddenly, an easy hunt becomes a dangerous gamble. Evolution rewards hunters that survive, not hunters that take unnecessary risks. That may have been the greatest survival strategy our ancestors ever discovered. They learned to read the landscape, listen to warning calls, stay together, choose safer camps, and eventually surround themselves with light. None of those choices seemed extraordinary on their own. Together, they completely changed humanity's place in nature. We didn't become the world's dominant species because we were the strongest, or the fastest, or the deadliest. We became successful because we understood something every great hunter understood. Fear, not only our own, the fear inside every predator that had something to lose. So the next time you wonder how ancient humans survived among Earth's most dangerous hunters, remember this. They didn't win by defeating every predator. They won by convincing predators the fight was never worth starting. And that may be the cleverest survival strategy our species has ever created. If you enjoyed discovering how our ancestors survived by outsmarting Earth's deadliest predators, subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who loves history. Every week, we uncover the hidden science, archaeology, and evolution behind humanity's greatest mysteries. Thanks for watching. And until our next journey into the past, keep questioning the ordinary.